Welcome to my allotment, plot 3 in North Warwickshire. Just a little update on the Wormery. They're working well, breaking down the vegetable matter and creating a few worm casts. Quite surprised actually how well everything's working, and I'm even getting some the juices, so we'll have a look at that. These juice bottles are a litre. I haven't turned the tap on for a while, but very surprised as to how much you actually get. So I've actually collected 1 litre now of the wormery juices since I first set it up. I'm quite surprised. But if anybody's ever collected wormery juices, a little bit of guidance maybe as to how I use it and how I mix it. But it's a really lovely dark colour. Anyway, we'll move on. A little bit of a tour, a few little problems, and more good things than bad. I'm getting on top of the pot washing. Got quite a few done now, but the job list gets bigger, and it's a struggle to keep on top of it. I'd like to say thank you to all my work colleagues, friends and family for helping me collect all the cardboard rolls. I think that is the way forward. So next year I'll be doing that, and I'll probably be actually cutting the cardboard rolls down one side so that they won't restrict the growth. But we'll be looking at the reveals on the carrot chitting trials and the parsnip chitting trials to see how the vegetables fared in the cardboard rolls. In earlier videos I planted some rocket, and this is what I ended up with. Now I'm absolutely sure that's going to be a turnip. Just when I tried one of the leaves, I thought, when they were a bit smaller that is, I thought they're a little bit sharp and not the tastiest, and they've just gone mad. So thank you. So unless I'm wrong, that's not rocket. I've also had problems like another YouTuber with the blossom end rot. Not just on my money makers, but also on my Gardener's Delight. I've had the rot before on money makers, and I thought, well, I'm not going to grow the larger tomatoes, I'll stick to the smaller cherries. But I've just been cutting them off at the moment, the complete area on each stage, and keeping an eye on them. But there does seem to be various issues as to why you get the blossom end rot. But my tomatoes are watered regularly, fed with all sorts. But it's one of those things. The Swedes are doing well. in the polytunnel, but the leaves just get far too big, and the cabbage whites do get to them, and then they pass the caterpillars, go into the lettuce, so might not be doing that again. Cucumbers, they're all starting to put the fruits on. It's pleasing to see with the start that I had. The celery, it's just started to bulk out, so I'm reasonably pleased with those. And the beetroot in the poly does so much better in here, but I've got loads now, so I'm restricting what I have in the polytunnel so that I don't cause any more issues. And courgettes galore. I've taken the broad beans down from inside the polytunnel. As I was doing it, they seem to be kicking off again from down at the bottom. I know runner beans, the long beans, if you cut them off at the bottom, they come back the next year, I believe. Will the broad beans actually grow again from the base once the tops have died off? I'd love somebody to let me know, just so I can rip them all out. In one of my first videos, I had one large grapevine. I've got one in the left hand corner as you come in, one in the far left hand corner, and the original. I'd actually planted that inside and it wasn't doing very well, and after watching Tony's video, Tony's allotment, I've planted all three now outside, and they're growing really well. So thank you, Tony, for that information. I caught those just at the right time. The cucamelons, one of my neighbouring plot holders gave me one a plant last year and I killed it, but this one is now at the top of the tunnel. I don't even know what the fruits look like, but it's doing well. The next succession of little gems. Some of the spring onions are suffering from too much water. But it's such a good idea to plant in 6 to 10s. Just pull a bunch up and you don't disturb the rest. The space is ready for the next lot of radish. I've been given some wallflowers. I've potted them on. Some more beetroot. Drying some of my red onions in here. And got some more broccoli, red arrow in there. Some sprouts and some more pointed cabbage, and there looks like they're up and growing. And I've had to take, these are the broad beans from in the poly I've taken off. I'm going to use them for seed. I think these broad beans go to seed now. And the long beans are way up there. And I've already taken some, not some, taken 2 off. The sweetie pie, sweet corn, and yes, Nigel, the celery between the sweet corn is blanching better than elsewhere, so you was correct. And the French beans, I have 2 pickings off those. Let's see if I can find some. Trying to pick them when they're young, but they're very, very tasty. Done really well, these have. The alderman pea, everything seemed to be so quick, those warm spells, so I'm going to collect the pods off here and let them go to seed. I'll just let that kind of sit there where it is for now. And that's the other row. And the sunflowers now, the multi-headed variety, Evening Sun, they're putting a really good show on. The Atlantic Giant, I think I've had a few comments about it, and I think all the comments are right. Maybe too much of a growing season, and I've had to cut loads of runners off. There's just not enough room on the my allotment, being a small allotment, to cope with it. It's a learning curve, and that was planted in the leaf mould without any extra nutrients other than anything that I've organically got together, the nettle tea, comfrey, and another special one that I'll be doing my next video on, that I'll bringing up. Potatoes are holding their own at the moment, dying back a little bit, but no blight. And the 3 rows of second early Charlotte, I'll be having a look at those soon, do a little reveal. Hopefully there'll be a smaller potato. I've had no blossom end rot outside or at home. Let's go and have a look at my onions. I've got the leeks, some of the red onions, and the remaining few white onions. I've had a few split, all this rain that we've had. But that is quite a good size. So I will be lifting those and getting them dried out. There's a few carrots that I've actually decided to appear. The mini pop. sweet corn, and the poor old carrots, they flopped over, but I've started thinning those out now and taking the small ones away. Very tasty. Beetroot. The parsnips are growing quite well now, so I don't know whether I ought to dig one out or shall I be patient. I'll start pickling some beetroot soon, but I am getting tempted to get one of the parsnips. The carrot chitting trial, I'll be interested to take one of those out as well. Yes, I do like my beetroot. The gourd, I've had to take out the weakest plants, but personally there was no weak ones. They're just going mad. Got two nice sized marrows on there. And these are my outdoor cucumbers. And the far one in the middle of the screen is the watermelon. That's the best out of the lot. And that's the largest pumpkin I've got. So I'll be taking the weaker ones off, ready for the competition later on in the year for the carving and carving of the pumpkins. And the ugliest pumpkin. That's the Atlantic giant in the compost bin. I don't think I'll bother with those next year. Just take up quite a bit of room. And the alpine strawberries. Very small fruits, but very nice. Started picking the rhubarb again. I'll probably have one more picking off that and then I'll leave it. Blueberries are just coming good now, and what little black and red currants we've had, we've taken some. There's not many this year, but it is their first year. Thanks everyone for watching, subscribing. I'm playing catch up with videos, but hopefully I'll be able to catch up soon and be on top of it. Thanks for watching everyone. Happy growing.